I think I prefer my virtue signaling in silence. Single-use kitchen tools. Are they worth it? Well, this one is. I love my bubble waffles. But what if we could repurpose this for other foods? Say something else that's shaped like a ball, maybe. Takoyaki. Now, can this thing make proper takoyaki? Probably not. The molds are a lot smaller than how they should be. And who knows if this thing even gets hot enough. But let's try it anyways. You are going to witness history. Because I don't know who else has attempted this. I don't know who would. And I never really looked to see if anybody else did this. So you tell me. And if this thing doesn't work, then I'll probably get myself a takoyaki thing. Just add to the list of more stuff you don't need. So to make some takoyaki, you're going to want some bonito flakes. To my understanding, these aren't tree shavings, but dried tuna, that's been shaved very thinly, giving us bonito flakes. So to start off, we're going to need about 1/4 cup worth of bonito flakes. I'm just going to put this in my spice grinder. If you got a mortar and pestle, you could use that to kind of break them down. What we want to get is for these flakes to become a powder of some sort. Someone do that. Nice and powdery. Good. So we're going to get about that 1/4 cup of bonito flakes, which turns to a tablespoon maybe. That's less than a tablespoon. Next, we're going to sift in about a cup of flour. We don't want any chunky flour bits in this. Then we'll need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, which will help it rise. 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, then 1/2 teaspoon of dashi powder. Of course, we're going to want to whisk in our dry ingredients all together first. Then next we'll add 2 eggs, teaspoon of soy sauce, then 1.5 cups of water. Then we'll whisk this all in together, making sure everything gets mixed really, really well. Once this is all mixed together, I'm going to pour this into a large squeeze bottle. Just makes things a little bit more manageable. So you're going to want to make sure we're going to let this rest for at least 30 minutes, allowing time for the flour to hydrate properly, giving us a better batter at the end of the day. Alright, so while we wait for our batter, we're going to need to make 2 of our sauces, which is the black takoyaki sauce and our Japanese mayo. So takoyaki sauce, or sometimes called soy sauce, is basically just ketchup and Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Is that right? I think that was right. So for our sauce, all we're gonna need is about a 1/4 cup of our Worcestershire sauce, and 1/4 cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of sugar, then 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. And that's really it. We just gotta whisk all this together till all of our sugar melts, so everything gets mixed through really well. That's good. And then we'll get this into a squeeze bottle for better maneuverability. If you guys don't have squeeze bottles in your kitchen, you're missing out. Next, our Japanese mayo. Now we've made this mayo before. It's really simple, but in a wide mouth mason jar, we're gonna add 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of dashi powder. And then lastly, about 3/4 cup of canola oil or vegetable oil. Any neutral flavor oil works fine. We pull out our trusty immersion blender, and then blend this into our mayo. Start at the bottom. And of course, if you're finding your mayo to be too thick, feel free to add a little bit of water or some of that egg white. Or if it's too thin, add some more oil. But I like my mayonnaise kind of thick. It's actually pretty good. So give this a taste test. Pretty good. And then lastly, same thing with this. Get our mayo into a squeezable bottle. Now we got our own mayo. Alright, so we got our batter, we got our sauces. Next we need to talk about our fillings. This being takoyaki, logically we're going to be using octopus, as that's what the taco refers to. But you don't necessarily have to use octopus. You could try squid, shrimp, fish, corn, any sort of meat, chips even. You use whatever you want. Just make sure that they're cooked through before using them as a filling. But with that said, I do have some cooked octopus here. Well, I think 1/2 of an octopus. 4 tentacles. Octo being 8. Yeah, I know my, is it Latin? You could find cooked octopus in your local grocer for the most part. If not, if all you have is raw octopus, like I did, you just have to boil this for about an hour until it gets really tender. Look at that. My hands are all wild now. But, ooh, that was quite tender. And you're going to want about 150 to 200 grams of octopus or filling. That should be enough for this. Again, depending on how generous you want to be, and you know, general guideline. So we're gonna cut this up into small pieces. Gotta remember, our balls are gonna be a lot smaller than regular size takoyaki, so we're gonna wanna make sure we cut them to an appropriate size. Next, we're gonna thinly chop up some green onions. Again, using this will help us cut them even smaller, less fuss. Get that in with our octopus. Then we're gonna add about, let's say, a tablespoon worth of ginger. Then we're gonna chop these super fine as well. Get this inside. And lastly, we're gonna season this with a little bit of salt. Mix this all up here. So this is our filling. We got some octopus, green onions, and some pickled ginger. It's a classic. But feel free to play around and mix whatever you want. At this point, it's basically a stuffed waffle. Time to put this together. Plugged in my waffle maker. I'm gonna let this preheat. For this one, blue, I guess, is when it's preheated. First thing we need to do, we need to spray this down. Give it a nice little brush. All right, blue light is on. We're preheated, ready to go. Let's see how this turns out. This amount should give us about 4 of these of this size. Give us a quick little shake. All right, let's see here. Let's pour this in. Get a little base layer. Okay. And put about a quarter of our fillings and such in. Fill this again pretty well. We're gonna close it and flip it. Really smooth like that. You gotta make sure if you have a lock on yours, do not lock it, because the takoyaki balls will expand and it'll probably break your lock. But we're gonna let this rock for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how hot your thing can get. Bear in mind, might get some different results. We're gonna go for 4 to 5 minutes. We're gonna flip it again for another 4 to 5 minutes, and that should be it, hopefully. So we hope. All right, so we're about 4 minutes now. Take a quick little gander. Not bad. All right, let's flip this. Give it another 4 minutes, and should be it. All right, let's see where we're at. Looks like there's some gaps in this. You know what? Because we're on this journey together, you could see some of them weren't fully filled, which is all right. I'm not gonna hide like the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing, and we're testing together here. So I think the only thing that matters is we're gonna need more batter, like a lot more batter, perhaps. Let's try that again. Let's get this out of here. You know, give it a cooling rack, let it cool down. Test this again. All right, so let's spray this with some oil. Give it a nice brush. We're not warm yet. We're warm. Game on. All right. So let's okay. Let's get our filling in. All right. So let's try to be really generous this time. No gaps. How about that? Does that look right? Ooh, that looks like too much. All right. You ready? 4 minutes. This one's not bad though. Look at that. All right, 4 minutes. Let's check. Clearly, there's a lot more batter in this one, but seems to be holding its shape. Give this a flip, and then give this another 4 to 5 minutes until they're kind of golden. Then they'll be good. All right, 8 minutes altogether has gone by. Got some pretty good browning here. This one, the ones on the outside, they don't fare too well. This thing doesn't cook very evenly. This seems pretty good, actually. Not bad, not bad. All right, it's hot. Be careful. Oh, yeah. All right, so, pairing these two, not terrible. Not bad at all, actually. So, something I want to suggest, if you were planning on making a few of these, obviously each one takes around 10 minutes to make all together. Now, unless you got like a whole station with 4 of these, then it's kind of nice. Then you can kind of just garnish them and eat them right away. But if you make a bunch at a time, I suggest you do. Just when these are done, you let them cool off and then reheat these. Give it about a couple minutes or so. Pull that out, reheat this one. And then you could have multiple platters of takoyaki bubble waffle that are kind of hot. Are these takoyaki anymore? Or they are their own thing? I don't know. Oh yeah, see? Getting them back in this, crisp them up ever so slightly, because all the steam has kind of gone off, and then by reheating it, we're able to crisp it up a good amount. All right, so let's get this on a plate. What side looks better? Yeah, definitely this side. So, to finish this off, got our takoyaki sauce. Next, we got our Japanese mayo. Should I go same direction or opposite, or let's go same direction. Oh wow, that did not look pretty. And of course we're gonna need some bonito flakes. Just sprinkle that all around. And we always want to top something with some green. If you got some of that Japanese powdered seaweed. I don't, but I do have some green onions. Get that on top. All right, look at that. So this is our bubble waffle takoyaki. Let's give this a try. How am I gonna eat this? By my hands? Some chopsticks? Just take a bite out of it? I'm gonna take a bite out of it. That's good. Oh, I messed with that. Oh yeah. Try to break a piece off here. We got our tiny little, you can even see that. Got a piece of our octopus in the center here. They're a lot smaller than they're supposed to be, but got a nice crunch to it, and nice and chewy in the inside with the octopus and the batter in itself. I mean, all the flavors are there for the most part. Now, would you call this takoyaki? It was debatable, but it works. We've repurposed our bubble waffle for another bubble waffle. But, you know, we got our flavors. All the flavors are here. And in a way, this is actually kind of sort of easier than making takoyaki. You got no skewers, you got no twisting, no turning. Because I've seen a video and it looks kind of hard to make. This is pretty easy. I think this was a success. And now I don't need to buy a takoyaki pan. Or maybe I should, for science and research sake. Yeah. But then I'll find another way to use the takoyaki pan. Yeah.